there are a lot of people questioning me on why am I not condemning Saudi Arabia, why am I not condemning UAE. Where is the comparison? Why do we start with lesser catastrophes instead of discussing the elephant in the room, as they say?
How are they lesser catastrophes when we talk about the hundreds of thousands killed in Iraq by Sunnis, when we talk about the hundreds of thousands killed in Yemen due to a Saudi blockade, 400,000 in Yemen? That's comparable. Why can't you talk about Saudi Arabia? Let's talk about Sudan. Let's talk about the mass killing that the Gulf monarchies are supporting in Sudan up to this day, and even going back 20 years ago. This is not irrelevant. It's extremely relevant. We're taking your standard that you're using against Iran, and we're just asking, well, that standard, if you apply it to Saudi, if you apply it to the UAE, if you apply it to Pakistan, if you apply it to Turkey, if you apply it to all these other Muslim countries and their governments, the logic would be we should be neutral if Israel fights Saudi, if Israel attacks Pakistan, if Israel attacks Turkey, if Israel attacks the Gulf. We also have to be neutral according to your standard, according to your logic, because the death toll is equivalent. All of these regimes have blood on their hands.
In the room called the Middle East, that there are two elephants, Israel and Iran. Let's start with the elephants and then we start making our way down. This whataboutery is an evidence, or it's an indicator of people's injustice when it comes to Iran. They deliberately want to downplay the crimes Iran has committed against the Muslim people in the Middle East. Okay? Because the moment we mention the crimes of Iran, this whataboutery exercise starts. What about this country? What about that country? What about that group? What about this group? What do you mean, what about
What do you mean? We're just holding you accountable to your standard. It's just very hypocritical that you have one standard for Iran and then you have another standard for other countries. Someone who has a minimal amount of IQ, if you tell them a standard for judging Iran or judging the conflict between Iran and Israel, if you give them a standard, they're naturally going to want to know if that standard is universally applicable. Does it apply to other conflicts? Does it apply to other countries? Someone with an average or above average IQ is naturally going to ask that question. But Adnan, because that question destroys Adnan's position and shows that his principle is not worth the paper that it's written on, he wants you to not ask those questions. And if you ask them, that's whataboutery. This is whataboutery. Don't ask about other countries. Don't ask about Saudi. Don't ask about Saddam Hussein. Don't ask about Libya or Egypt or UAE. Don't ask about anyone else. This is intellectually dishonest at best.
Crimes of Israel to me, the Zionist crimes in Gaza. And I said, what about Mexican drug cartels? What about all the drug dealers in Sao Paulo? Or what about those gangsters in Rio de Janeiro? What about all those guys? Okay, you'll think I've lost my mind. Why am I talking about all these people when the point of discussion is Israel and the Israeli crimes?
I don't even understand this analogy. Like, if the Brazilian drug cartels were also on the verge of genociding millions of Muslims for a greater project, like a greater Israel project, something analogous to that, it would be absolutely relevant to bring them into the conversation. It would be absolutely relevant to look at what kinds of crimes that they've committed against Muslims, if they were involved with any. But Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Saddam Hussein, all these other Sunni governments have also done comparable things as Iran. So it is relevant. And how dare you tell us that it's not relevant? How stupid do you think we are?